I've been a judge for over 30 years. 30 years sitting in this courtroom, watching people from every walk of life come through those doors. And this morning, I had a case that reminded me why I do this job. A man walked in here, Richard Ashford, billionaire real estate developer, custom Italian suit, Rolex that could pay someone's rent for a year, diamond cufflinks, catching the light. He didn't walk to that podium, he strode, like he owned the place. Traffic violation, red light camera, simple case, should take 5 minutes. But from his first word, I knew this wasn't going to be simple. Let me save you some time, he said. How much is this going to cost me? I'll write a check right now and we can both get back to more important things. I looked up at him. Sir, this is a court proceeding, not a business transaction. He actually smirked at me. Everything's a business transaction, Your Honor. I own shopping malls, office buildings, hotels, and then he said it. The thing that changed everything, I own people like you. I've heard a lot in 3 decades on this bench. I've heard excuses, lies, desperate pleas, angry outbursts. But I've never had someone tell me they own me. I stayed calm. I explained the violation red light camera caught his Bentley going through an intersection 1.3 seconds after the light turned red, asked if he recalled the incident. He pulled out his phone, barely looked up. Not specifically. I drive through dozens of intersections daily. Your cameras don't lie, right? So how much do I owe? He reached into his jacket and pulled out a checkbook, an actual checkbook, like we're living in 1985. Let's settle this so I can get to my 10:30 meeting. I have investors flying in from Dubai, and they don't wait. I tried to explain. Mr. Ashford, this isn't about settling. This is a court hearing. He cut me off.
Buckle up, guys. Today we're going to watch a simple traffic case turn into a full-blown courtroom reckoning. A veteran judge introduces a man who walks in dripping with wealth and entitlement, treating the courtroom like a checkout counter. What should have been a routine red light violation immediately shifts when the billionaire defendant tries to buy his way out, openly mocking the process and testing how far money can really take him inside a court of law.
Respect, Your Honor. I know how these things work. I ran a red light. I'm guilty. I'll pay the fine. Let's not waste each other's time with theater. You tell me the number, I write the check. We both move on with our lives. I told him the fine, $85. He laughed. Actually laughed in my courtroom. Your Honor, I spend more than that on lunch. Let me write you a check for $500. Consider it a donation to whatever fund you have. Traffic safety, courthouse renovations, whatever. I had to be firm. Sir, I don't accept donations in lieu of following proper legal procedure. He sighed like I was a child who didn't understand how the world works. Then he started explaining his time's value. $12,000 per hour, he said. Every minute he stands in my courtroom costs him $200. Could we expedite this? I told him and I tell everyone, Mr. Ashford, your hourly rate doesn't change court procedure. Everything has a price, Your Honor, everything. There's always a way to make things move faster if you're willing to pay for efficiency. I set down my pen, looked him right in the eye. Mr. Ashford, let me be clear. This court doesn't operate on your timeline or your financial principles. We operate on the law. You'll participate in this hearing like every other citizen who appears before me. His smile faded. I'm not every other citizen, Your Honor. I employ over 2,000 people. I pay more in taxes in 1 quarter than most people earn in a lifetime. I sit on 5 corporate boards and 3 charitable foundations. My company is worth $1.8 billion. I think that entitles me to a little flexibility in how we handle an $85 traffic ticket. I've seen wealth before. I've seen power. But I've never seen someone so convinced that money exempts them from basic respect.
From an outside view, the tension builds as the defendant insists guilt is irrelevant because payment should end the matter. He flaunts his wealth, his schedule, and his status, repeatedly framing justice as a business deal. The judge calmly pushes back, explaining that procedure applies equally to everyone. Each exchange sharpens the contrast between measured authority and unchecked arrogance, setting the stage for a clash that is no longer about a traffic ticket.
Mr. Ashford, I said, your financial success is admirable. Your employment of 2,000 people is commendable. But none of that gives you special treatment in this courtroom. I'm not asking for special treatment, he insisted. I'm asking for efficient treatment. Efficient treatment is what everyone receives here. You're getting the same process as the person who came before you and the person who will come after you. That's when his patience, what little he had, snapped. Your Honor, do you know who I am? I don't mean that as arrogance. I mean it literally. Do you know what Ashford Development Corporation is? I told him I was aware of his company. Then, you know, I developed commercial real estate throughout New England. I've built half of downtown Providence's skyline over the last 20 years. The building 3 blocks from here? Mine. The hotel across the street? Mine. The parking structure where I parked my Bentley this morning? Also mine. He wasn't done. I'm not just a property owner. I'm an economic engine for this city. When I build a project, it creates hundreds of construction jobs. When I lease space, it generates tax revenue that pays for schools, roads, police courts.
The situation escalates when the defendant begins listing his properties, influence, and economic importance to the city. He portrays himself as an engine that keeps everything running, including the courts. As a third-party observer, it's clear he's reframing civic duty as ownership, implying that wealth places him above ordinary citizens. The courtroom grows heavier with each boast, as his argument shifts from efficiency to entitlement.
People like me keep cities like Providence running. People like him? I asked him what he meant by that. Business leaders, developers, entrepreneurs, the people who take risks, create jobs, generate wealth. We're the ones who make everything else possible. I see, I said. And where do people like me fit into your worldview, Mr. Ashford? He walked right into it. Couldn't help himself. Your Honor, I didn't mean any disrespect. I'm just saying there's a hierarchy to society. Some people create value, and some people maintain systems. Both are necessary, but one is more economically vital than the other. So judges maintain systems and billionaires create value. In simplest terms, yes, you enforce laws that people like me operate within. It's complementary, not competitive. I leaned forward. Mr. Ashford, would you say I work for you? He hesitated. He knew it was a trap, but his arrogance wouldn't let him back down. In a philosophical sense, yes. My taxes pay your salary. The economic activity my company generates funds the court system. So in that framework, you could say public servants serve taxpayers. And I'm one of the largest taxpayers in Rhode Island. The courtroom went silent, dead silent. So because you pay substantial taxes, you...
At this point, the exchange turns philosophical and dangerous. The defendant outlines a hierarchy where creators of wealth outrank public servants, casually suggesting judges merely maintain systems. He goes further, claiming taxpayers like him effectively employ the court. The room falls silent as his words cross a line, revealing a belief that money doesn't just influence the system, but owns the people within it.
I believe I serve you. I believe we have a transactional relationship. I contribute to the system financially. The system provides services. That includes law enforcement, courts, infrastructure. You're part of that service infrastructure. Service infrastructure. That's what he called the judicial branch of government. Service infrastructure. He kept going. Explained how money funds everything. How without taxpayers like him, there would be no court system, no judges, no bailiffs, no public defenders. None of it exists without people creating wealth and paying into the system. I knew where this was heading, so we should be grateful. I didn't say that, he said quickly. But it's what you meant, that judges, police officers, teachers, all public servants should be grateful that wealthy taxpayers like you allow us to exist. His face flushed red. You're twisting my words. I'm simply stating economic reality. Wealth creation enables public services. That's not controversial. That's basic economics. And then he said the sentence that sealed his fate. Look, Your Honor, I don't mean to be rude, but I own people like you. I own the buildings you work in. I own the roads you drive on. I own the economy that makes your salary possible. So can we please just finish this transaction so I can...
The judge seizes on the defendant's own words, calmly repeating the claim that he owns people like you. From an observer's standpoint, this is the moment the case transforms. The judge dismantles the idea that wealth equals worth, explaining that money, power, and status do not purchase respect or character. The defendant's attempted apologies sound hollow, arriving only after the consequences become clear.
Get back to actually creating value. I sat there for 5 full seconds, just stared at him. When I finally spoke, I kept my voice quiet. Mr. Ashford, did you just tell me you own me? He realized his mistake too late. I didn't mean it literally. I meant economically. You said, and I quote, I own people like you. There's no economic interpretation that makes that acceptable. He started backtracking, apologizing, said it came out wrong. You were trying to remind me that you're rich and I'm not, that you create value and I merely maintain systems, that you own buildings and I merely work in them, that your time is worth $200 per minute and mine is apparently worthless. That's not what I... Let me tell you something, Mr. Ashford. I've been a judge for over 30 years. I've seen billionaires and I've seen broke college students. I've seen corporate executives and homeless veterans. And you know what I've learned? Money doesn't determine character. Power doesn't create wisdom. And wealth absolutely does not buy respect. He tried to apologize again. Sincerely this time, you were more than out of line, I told him. You were contemptuous. You walked into this courtroom believing your $1.8 billion exempts you.
What follows is swift and devastating. The judge cites the law, detailing how contempt for the court allows enhanced penalties. Every dismissive comment, every attempt to buy speed or superiority, is laid out methodically. Then the ruling lands. The $85 ticket becomes a $5,000 penalty. Gasps fill the courtroom as the billionaire finally realizes this is no longer a transaction he controls.
From basic human decency. You treated this hearing like a business transaction where you could simply pay your way out. And when I didn't immediately bow to your financial superiority, you told me you own me. I didn't mean stop talking. His mouth snapped shut. I opened my computer, typed slowly and deliberately. The courtroom was so quiet you could hear people breathing. Mr. Ashford, the standard fine for running a red light is $85. That's what you came here expecting to pay. But we're not in a standard situation anymore. I looked up at him, made direct eye contact. Under Rhode Island general law, judges have discretion to enhance penalties when defendants demonstrate contempt for judicial authority or when their behavior suggests disregard for public safety and the rule of law. Your behavior today has been textbook contempt. You've referred to court proceedings as theater. You've attempted to expedite justice by offering to overpay. You've suggested that your time is more valuable than court time. You've stated that public servants exist because wealthy people allow them to exist. And you've told a sitting judge that you own him. His hands started shaking. Your fine for the red light violation is increased from $85 to $5,000. The courtroom gasped. His face went white. $5,000 for running a red light, 1.3.
The consequences deepen when the judge adds 50 hours of community service, directly tying the punishment to the defendant's own valuation of his time. Assigned to work in a soup kitchen, the billionaire reacts with disbelief and humiliation. From the outside, it's clear this isn't about revenge, but accountability. The judge frames the order as a lesson in humility, dignity, and equal treatment under the law.
Seconds late. No. 85 for the red light, $4,915 for contempt of court. That's insane. You can't charge me $5,000 for speaking honestly about economics. I'm not charging you for speaking honestly. I'm charging you for contempt, for treating this court like a business transaction, for suggesting that money exempts you from respect, for telling me you own me. He raised his voice, said he'd apologized. You apologized after you saw my reaction. That's not remorse, that's damage control. He threatened to appeal, said his lawyers would fight it. Please do appeal, I encourage it, because every appellate court in Rhode Island will review the video of you telling a judge, I own people like you. I'm confident they'll uphold my ruling. But I wasn't finished. Mr. Ashford, I'm going to do something else, something I rarely do. I'm going to teach you a lesson your money apparently hasn't taught you. I made more notes. In addition to the $5,000 fine, I'm ordering you to complete 50 hours of community service. Community service? I'm a CEO. I don't have time. You'll make time. You told me your time is worth $200 per minute. So 50 hours of your time equals $600,000 in value. Consider it a donation to the community you claim to support. He was shaking with rage. Where exactly am I supposed to do this community service? I'm assigning you to Providence Community Kitchen. They serve meals to homeless individuals and low-income families. You'll work in the kitchen, serving food, cleaning dishes, taking out trash, whatever they need. You're assigning a billionaire to wash dishes? I'm assigning a man who needs humility to serve people he's clearly never noticed. Maybe spending 50 hours with people who struggle to afford meals will teach you that human value isn't measured in dollars.
In the final moments, the aftermath reveals the impact. The defendant completes every hour, quietly changes, and later donates anonymously to the very community he once dismissed. The judge reflects on equality, dignity, and respect, reminding everyone that none of it is for sale. A billionaire leaves humbled, and the courtroom witnesses a rare reminder that justice answers to no wallet. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.